One thing that stood out to me during Metal Gear Solid 5's adverts was Venom Snake's design. I don't think it's controversial to state that Venom is the most visually striking Snake design. A large part of why this is the case is the red prosthetic arm. Originally belonging to Peace Walker's antagonist Zodornov, Snake now utilizes this FMA-styled enhancement to overcome the loss of his left arm. The game ended up featuring a total of 7 other variants, well, technically 6. But what if I told you that even more were planned in the game's development? Today I'm Pliskin, and welcome to the first episode of the cut content of Metal Gear Solid 5. Today, we're going to be talking about the prosthetic arms. So first off, let's go ahead and talk about what's already in the game. We have the Bionic Arm, the iconic default arm. No unique abilities, just a starter arm to build off from. The Stun Arm, which is a cool taser arm that can stun almost any enemy in the game. And the final upgrade allows you to summon lightning upon everyone in the vicinity. Then you have the Hand of Jehudi, an out-of-the-box arm that brings enemies in closer via teleportation so you can CQC them. I like how you have to hunt down a specific legendary bird to unlock this power. It would have been cool if it was naturally in the open world and not a side op, but I'm still happy it's in here nonetheless. It's a great way to minimize exposure when going in for CQC. So you don't have to creep up right behind guys, you can just pull them into convenient cover. And of course, it looks really cool. Apparently also, I'm not really a big fan of Zone of the Enders, I don't really know much about it, but this is supposed to be a reference to it, and I always like having references to other games in my games. Next up, we have the Rocket Arm. So you remember the Rocket the Punch reveal?
このブラストアームを発射! Rocket Punch!
And this is basically a non-lethal Nikita. Few things are as satisfying as guiding your fist across the base, knocking out all enemies without ever stepping foot in there. Then you have the Blast Arm. This is literally just the Nikita. It's cool since a lot of Metal Gear Solid 5's missions are based on sabotage, and the Blast Arm lets you complete these tasks so much easier. Also, if you can do the Bionic Punch move, it'll put enemies in a critical state, giving you the only lethal CQC move, aside from the knife, in the game. But enough of that, let's talk about all the arms that didn't make it into the game. A white and orange arm, known as the Medical Arm, in the official art book, was cut before release. Its function is anyone's guess. I can propose a few possibilities: reviving enemies in critical conditions so you could Fulton them, healing downed buddies, or maybe providing a faster way to heal serious injuries for more aggressive players. Who knows? Maybe we could have saved Paz with this, or Quiet, or fixed the broken state of Venom's mind. Now we got the firearm. Next to the medical arm, we can see an illustration of a cut firearm. Not that kind of firearm, like a literal firearm in this case. This is easier to imagine in the game. I could totally see us taking down the man on fire and unlocking a manifestation of his power, kind of like how we get the Hand of Jehudi through that bird. Since we have D. Walker's flamethrower and incendiary grenades in the game, the way this arm could have played is actually pretty easy to picture. A flamethrower, a fire cannon like the man on fire and how he attacks, or maybe a CQC punch that lights dudes on fire. Or maybe even an area of effect fire attack. Maybe we would activate it like the sonar move. No matter how it was implemented, This would basically be a fast track to becoming Demon Snake. Next up, we have the Parasite Arm. Now, this is one with some pretty disturbing connotations. I can picture us unlocking this by fultoning infected soldiers or skulls. In terms of use, well, we already have the skull suit for using skull abilities, so I think this arm might have been intended to give us a way to infect or cure enemy soldiers. While a curing mechanic would fall in line with the game's story of fighting bioweapons, an infecting mechanic would add a darker element to Diamond Dogs becoming just as bad as XOF by engaging in the same biological warfare, making the imagery in the post-Sahelanthropus cutscene having a potentially chilling connotation. Now we have the Archaeo Arm. Now, this is the arm that leaves me the most disappointed with its exclusion from the final release. Metallic Archaea is an important plot piece that comes in the form of an annoyance in gameplay. It makes it harder to use vehicles against the Skulls or Sahelanthropus. If we could utilize this power ourselves to completely shut down enemy convoys, it would make the aggravating vehicle combat missions so much more palatable. Imagine the Soviets trying to run up on you with tanker choppers, and you just snap your fingers and say, no. So now for a last kind of bonus. This isn't technically a cut arm. However, while this is technically in the game, during the hospital scene, Venom has a traditional prosthetic arm. You can't CQC and you have no special abilities, but you can still move and shoot. You feel just barely in control, but still very vulnerable. This artwork of a fully kitted out Venom, utilizing the hospital hook arm, indicates that we might have been stuck with this arm even longer than in the final game. I think it would have been cool to start the game with this arm, since CQC is so powerful, and without it we would really feel its absence. We would really start the game feeling like we're at a disadvantage. And since, the game is so dependent on this overall system of constantly developing new things and getting stronger and getting better, having an arm that would really make us feel like we were starting at rock bottom would further solidify this whole sense of progression the game goes for. Imagine enemies clapping you in CQC, fumbled reloads, not being able to crack climb, and slower crawling. It would make unlocking the Bionic Arm feel so much more powerful. Metal Gear Solid 5 is a very easy game. I think having the hook arm and having that Uber challenge at the start would make that feeling of just overpoweredness you get by, let's be honest, the mid-game, to feel so much more earned than it already feels. Because let's be honest, as soon as you start the game, you pretty much have everything you need to tackle every task that comes at you. So yeah, being less powerful would have been pretty cool. And again, this artwork also looks pretty freaking awesome.
This is Solid Snake. Hey, subscribe to Pliskin Boy. God damn it.
You heard him. So yeah, this was the first episode of going over the cut content of Metal Gear Solid 5. Based on everything I've seen in these art books and in these illustrations, there's kind of a lot to talk about. If you guys are interested in me talking more about this in this format, please let me know down in the comments below. Now, there's a good chance that this specific part of the video might get cut out, which is why I'm leaving it after the outro. I'm trying out using a soundtrack that I don't usually use in my videos, but think would sound really nice in the background of a lot of the videos I make in the future. So if this isn't cut out and you're listening to this right now, you can expect to hear this soundtrack from Parasite Eve play a lot more often. Anyways guys, I'll see you next time. This has been Pliskin, over and out.
I fucking love Tame Impala. Hey, Super Cop, how many people you think are in Tame Impala?
I don't know. Maybe 4?
It's just one guy. Isn't that crazy? Wait, hold on. Let me pull them up.